WCBI News at 10 starts now.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Cash Matlock. There are now 10 confirmed coronavirus cases in Mississippi. The Mississippi State Department of Health identified 4 new cases of the coronavirus over the weekend. The cases are located in Copiah, Hinds, and Pearl River counties. Previous cases have also been identified in Forest and LaFleur counties. Jackson State University confirms a student tested positive for the virus. WJTV reports the student is currently isolated at home. The Mississippi State Department of Health has notified individuals who have been in contact with the student. These individuals have been advised of the proper protocol to monitor symptoms. Jackson State President Thomas K. Hudson says the health and safety of our students and campus community is our top priority. Last week, JSU implemented a coronavirus response team to assist with minimizing the spread of the disease. Other measures taken include an extended spring break, suspension of in-person classes, installed additional hand sanitizer stations, deep cleaned all campus buildings with special attention to residence halls, and restricted travel. A University of Mississippi Medical Center student has also tested positive for the coronavirus. According to UMMC, the student is currently in self-isolation at home. The student recently returned from a spring break trip out of state and began feeling symptoms related to the virus. DNA samples taken from the student and tested by the Mississippi Public Health Laboratory were found to be positive for COVID-19. After returning from the trip out of state, the student has not visited the UMMC campus. The University of Mississippi Medical Center will soon restrict visitors at its Jackson-based hospitals in an effort to lessen the spread of the virus. Starting Monday at noon, adult patients will not be permitted to have visitors except in certain circumstances, according to hospital visitation policies. Pediatric patients are permitted to have only 2 adult visitors, but both must be parents, guardians, or caregivers. Temporary visitor restrictions are already in effect for UMMC Grenada and UMMC Holmes County. Also, beginning Monday, there will be only 2 entrances for patients and visitors of those Jackson-based hospitals, and visitors will be screened for COVID-19 at both entrances. The Jackson hospitals affected by the new guidelines are University Hospital, Weiser Hospital for Women and Infants, Batson Children's Hospital, and Connerly Critical Care Hospital. Well, in an effort to help families who may be struggling during this time, the Mississippi Public Service Commission issues an emergency order prohibiting all water, electric, sewer, and natural gas shutoffs for the next 60 days. Commissioner Brandon Presley says this does not alleviate a customer's responsibility to pay their bills, but prevents service shutoffs during this period. According to the PSC, municipalities who serve customers within their city limits or within 1 mile are not subject to the PSC's jurisdiction. Coronavirus numbers continue to rise while stock futures fall. There are now more than 3,200 confirmed cases with 62 deaths. And to keep those numbers from spiking, the government is looking at measures to keep Americans apart. This comes as Federal Reserve is trying to take measures to boost the economy. Nicole Killian has more details from the White House.
The Federal Reserve announced it is slashing interest rates to 0 and will buy at least $700 billion in government bonds in response to the coronavirus pandemic.
Makes me very happy, and I want to congratulate the Federal Reserve.
Dow futures still fell even after the Fed's announcement, signaling it could be another chaotic week on Wall Street. But President Trump tried to downplay the panic.
It's a very contagious virus. It's incredible, but it's something that we have tremendous control of.
Some travelers waited for hours to clear customs as the president's European travel ban kicked in. Passengers at 13 of the nation's biggest airports are receiving health screenings after landing.
We did make the necessary adjustments at 12 of the funneling airports. However, again, at Chicago, those adjustments were not made quick enough, but we have course corrected.
Administration officials say a domestic travel ban is still on the table as the government is asking Americans to step up efforts at social distancing.
On a day-by-day basis, we look at this and literally we will do everything that we can to make sure we safeguard the health and the well-being of the American people. And that means everything and anything we'll consider.
The president asked grocery store executives to ensure that store shelves remain stocked.
They have to stay open. Those stores have to stay open. They supply our country.
This comes as several states have announced bars and restaurants will be shut down. The president's coronavirus task force was asked if that could be broadened nationally.
We will have updated guidelines tomorrow morning for you that are being vetted now with CDC and all of our top healthcare experts.
And Starbucks says it will serve only coffee to go. Nicole Killian, CBS News, the White House.
The White House and Congress are working on a potential stimulus bill to help businesses survive the pandemic. Worldwide, more than 162,000 people have been infected and more than 6,000 have died, but at least 75,000 have recovered.
Overcast skies today on our Sunday. We've had some cooler weather out there, some showers this morning, but most of the rain now back to the west here across the high plains in Oklahoma and Texas. We may see a few more showers around here tomorrow, but not really a lot of rain expected in the near term, but extensive cloud cover across our region right now. You can see that with our Louisville, Mississippi time lapse from this afternoon. Overcast, gloomy, but at least it's not too terribly active out there, and that's always a nice little change of pace considering how busy it could be this time of year. We've got mid to upper 40s to around 50-degree temperatures right now with a northerly wind, and it looks like temperatures will be holding steady basically where we are. Low 40s in the north, upper 40s to around 50 in the south for tonight. And for your Monday, a mix of clouds and sun, afternoon showers, maybe a few showers in the morning, but in general not a lot of rain. We should moderate back into the 60s. I'm back with your full forecast coming up.
So far, there are no cases of coronavirus in the Golden Triangle, but Columbus is feeling its effects. Visit Columbus cancels the 2020 Columbus, Mississippi Spring Pilgrimage. The Columbus Lowndes Convention and Visitors Bureau called the move necessary, citing concerns about the spread of the virus. Any events scheduled during the 2 weeks of pilgrimage, including what would have been the 30th installment of Tales from the Crypt, are also canceled. Pilgrimage was scheduled to run from March 26th through April 4th. The Lowndes County Recreation Department is advising parents and players to cease all practices until further notice. In a statement this morning, Director Roger Short informed baseball, softball, and soccer coaches of a meeting set to take place Monday at 1 p.m. The meeting will include officials from Baptist Memorial Hospital, the Health Department, and County EMA. County leaders will discuss what actions to take in the coming days. Short says all players and parents need to be vigilant and practice good hygiene. Well, although classes are canceled, Mississippi State University will be open tomorrow. In a statement released earlier today, President Mark Keenum asked all deans, directors, department heads, and supervisors to report to work Monday. Faculty are expected to spend the coming week preparing to transition their classes to an online format. Non-essential staff have been asked to stay home until further notified. The 70th Annual Junior Auxiliary of Columbus Charity Ball has been postponed due to recommendations from the Health Department concerning the spread of COVID-19. The new date for the event is June 27th. Event organizers say all purchased tickets will be honored on the new date and will be required for admission. The organization says the safety of its patrons and supporters are its top priority. The ball is one of two main fundraisers for the nonprofit organization. Well, this was the scene on Highway 45 North in Columbus near Waffle House earlier today. In the video, it appears an SUV collided with the van. The cause of the crash is under investigation. Baptist Memorial Hospital responded to the scene, but it's unknown whether there were any injuries. The Columbus Fire Department and the Columbus Police Department also responded to the accident. A group of beekeepers were called in to assist with an 18-wheeler crash on Interstate 20 earlier today. Mississippi Highway Patrol Troop H posted this image on their Facebook. Officers say a truck loaded with live honeybees crashed near mile marker 102. This is near the Lawrence community. Bees swarmed the truck after it crashed, making it hard for first responders to assess the situation and get things cleaned up. Troopers say the driver of the truck remained uninjured. As more people practice social distancing amid the coronavirus outbreak, businesses that rely on foot traffic are beginning to feel the effects. We're going to have more on this story when we come back. Stay with us.
News at 10 p.m. with Cash Matlock.
Welcome back, everyone. As more people practice social distancing amid the coronavirus outbreak, businesses that rely on foot traffic are beginning to feel its effects. WCBI's Tyler Hull went to a popular downtown restaurant in Columbus to see if people are still sitting down for dinner.
Open for business. Cafe on Main in downtown Columbus was prepared for its typical Sunday crowd, but this week, business was much slower than usual.
It has hurt us, but that we still are thankful for all the people that have come out and are still supporting us and helping us, keep running and everything. Manager
Kelsey Hoover says workers are taking extra precautions to make sure that the restaurant maintains a healthy, safe environment to their customers.
Well, definitely making sure the bathrooms, everything's okay in there, that everything's wiped down. We're also having the tables wiped down after every customer's come in.
One big change, customers now have to request items like ketchup and salt.
All of our condiments and products that normally are on the tables, they've all been taken off, and that we wipe them down we bring them to a table and wipe them down every time that they're brought back.
Hoover says they're working on a plan to accommodate patrons who would prefer their food to go.
We care about keeping them safe, watching out for the germs, and we've worked on doing a curbside pickup where they can come and get their orders. We're doing to-go meals, anything to help our customers.
In Columbus, Tyler Hall, WCBI News.
The restaurant plans to continue with normal business hours.
All right, the Twin States will be split in half again on Monday. Today we had some 80s well across the southern parts of the Twin States. Much cooler north. Same story tomorrow. We should be in the 60s, gradually moderating to the 60s, but 70s and 80s to our south. Your full forecast for the work week coming up next.
WCBI First Alert AccuWeather Forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
Let's talk about the week ahead. We do have more opportunities for some rain around here. Each and every day probably won't be a washout. The best chance for rain this week looks to be sometime Thursday and the Friday with a cold front coming our way. A few storms possible later this week as well. And as time goes by here through next weekend, we may see some inches of rain total on up in the rain gauge. But for your Monday, a few showers, extensive cloud cover, maybe a few breaks of sun thrown into the mix there, but temperatures will be moderated into the upper 60s. Tuesday, low 70s. St. Patrick's Day, more or less the same story. A chance for a few showers around here and some cloud cover. Wednesday, back into the upper 70s. Still a chance for a few showers, but not really a big player for us. Temperatures right now across our area range from the mid-40s to the low 50s. As we expand the view, it's 73 in Hattiesburg, 70 in Montgomery. There's a frontal boundary that has been splitting the states in two. It's been wavering back and forth for the last week. It will start to migrate back to the north as we go throughout the next couple of days. And here you go. Tomorrow, 60s here, 70s and 80s to our south. As we get into your Tuesday, it gets a little bit warmer here, and that warmer air will win out a little bit more so on Wednesday. So I think we'll be flirting with 80 by the middle to end of this work week. Now, Thursday, spring officially begins, astronomical spring. It begins March 19th, late in the evening, but spring almost here officially. Spring is actually coming earlier and earlier if you look at the leaves coming out, and it looks like 2 days earlier as an average down here in the deep south, as climatology suggests over the last couple of decades that things are getting warmer earlier, and that's allowing the spring leaves to bud up. You probably noticed that this year I actually had a rose bud in January since we had extremely warm temperatures earlier this year. You can see our time lapse from Columbus today, our Alpha Insurance camera at Durham's Pharmacy. The clouds moving on through the showers earlier this morning, giving rise to some dry conditions in the afternoon, but extensive cloud cover across our region right now. And it looks like we will wake up to a lot of clouds here on our Monday. Low 40s north, some low 50s possible in the south here. And as we go throughout the course of the day, midday 40s and 50s around here in the afternoon, we should start to moderate things a little bit into the 60s. The new data has come on in suggesting we may stay in the 50s. So let's be hopeful that we will moderate back into the 60s here tomorrow. But there will be a few shower opportunities around. The storm track continues from the southwest to the northeast. There's an area of low pressure out west. There's this big blocking high in the Gulf of Mexico. That has been the pattern. That will be the pattern all week long. So little disturbances will go along that battleground zone right here. We'll get brushed by some of that. No severe weather potential really for the next couple of days. Maybe by Friday right here, we may see a couple of stronger storms out there. But overall, a fairly benign weather pattern, even though it looks pretty active here, Cash, with a lot of opportunities for some rain. But, you know, we could have 7 days where there could be severe weather this time of year. We do not have that at this point, so that's always a blessing in disguise.
It's definitely a relief, kind of.
That's one less thing we have to worry about
At least we're getting a break on some front. kind of.
Right, we need a break from everything right now, and the fact that we don't have tornadoes coming our way in the near term, that's always good news.
Thank God. All right, well, thank you, Keith. Coming up, it was the worst box office weekend in recent history. We've got the latest numbers for you when we come back. Stay with us. Welcome back, everyone. Wherever there are children, there are sure to be stains. Today on Mom to Mom, a recipe for a cleaning solution that'll get the job done. Take a look.
Today on Mom to Mom, we're going to show you how to get rid of those pesky stains. My son, who's potty training, has absolutely destroyed his mattress and his pillow, so I was desperately trying to find something to take care of the smell and the stain. Well, I came across this wonderful formula, decided to give it a try, and it is the best thing ever. This solution is made up of products that you probably already have in your house, and it's fairly inexpensive. You're going to take 1 cup of hydrogen peroxide, then you're going to need about 3 tablespoons of baking soda, and then just 2 drops of any kind of dish liquid. Mix it all together in this spray bottle, and then you're ready to get cleaning. So you're going to take the solution that you just made, spray it on the stain, make sure you get it good and wet, let it sit for a few hours, come back. If you need to wipe it off a little bit, you can, or you can even vacuum up the residue that's left from the baking soda, but your stain will be taken care of and all gone. This is a much better option as opposed to those harmful chemicals. We don't even know what's in those. As always, moms, we'd love to hear your great tips up on our Facebook page, and we'll see you on the next Mom to Mom.
The first weekend with the national emergency in effect was predictably quiet at U.S. movie theaters, as audiences trying to avoid exposure to the coronavirus stayed away in droves. David Daniel has weekend estimates for the top 5 films.
7 months after it was supposed to hit theaters, The Hunt opened in 5th place, taking in $5.3 million. The Invisible Man dropped from 2nd to 4th place on ticket sales of $6 million. Bloodshot, starring Vin Diesel, began its run in 3rd place with $9.3 million.
To date.
What? No, it's not a date.
The faith-based film I Still Believe was the weekend's top new movie, earning $9.5 million to debut in 2nd place.
Quick! Somebody help me! These Griffin nuggets were supposed to go out minutes ago!
Pixar's Onward kept the weekend crown, but made just $10.5 million, a 73% drop from the previous weekend. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
All movies combined made an estimated $53 million, the lowest weekend total in more than 20 years. A homecoming 79 years in the making. We've got the full story for you coming up after the break. Don't go anywhere. A homecoming 79 years in the making. A World War II veteran who died in the attack on Pearl Harbor and whose remains were only recently identified has made it back to Texoma. Mason Brighton was at the DFW airport earlier this week with his family. He shares their story of that journey back.
Today is about honoring Bethel Walters. That's all it's about.
A heartfelt mourning, all for a family member once thought to never return. Today, they welcomed Bethel Walters back home.
We're representing him, but he's representing everybody else. So we're going to be part of his celebration.
That American flag just means everything to me. When I would see it flying, I would think about Uncle Bethel and actually all the kids who have to do without their parents while they're gone and fighting for our country. I would think about that too, and I just love seeing the American flag waving.
This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, but it's going to be really memorable. And I get to share it with my whole family, so I'm excited.
Now reunited, the Walters family made their way from DFW Airport to Bowie.
It brings the family all together because I finally get to see my great-great-uncle Bethel home once more.
I've also learned a lot about a big part of America's history in the past month than I probably ever have in the past 2 years.
Escorted by the Patriot Guard, Bethel and his family didn't make that trip alone. The entire time, crowds gathered, families, veterans, and first responders to honor the fallen sailor.
We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, Keith will have a final look at weather.
Several more opportunities for some rain. Not really a lot of moisture the next couple of days there, Cash, but we are going to be moderating temperatures. It's chilly now. Chilly start to our Monday, but we'll gradually warm up this week.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to really warm up. All right, thank you, Keith. Well, thank you guys for joining us tonight. We'll see you back here tomorrow.